Obviously, there are lots of fans, Cormoran Strike fans out there, much anticipated, but they're not queuing up at midnight for the new Cormoran Strike novel.
No.
Do you miss that kind of feeding frenzy and madness and delirium, or is this more manageable?
It's... I don't mean this in any ungrateful sense, because it obviously it was wonderful what happened with Potter, but it was quite overwhelming at times. And crime fans are a less...
They like their sleep.
Yeah, they like their sleep, exactly. That's a good way of putting it, yeah. And I empathise.
So, when did I talk to you? Was it the last book? Was it Troubled Blood or Lethal White?
I think it was Lethal White.
And I was saying to you then, you had all these books planned in your head.
Yes.
And that they're all living there.
Yeah.
So this one is 2015, and there's a particular reason why you chose that year.
Yeah.
But it suddenly struck me, kind of like, oh no, they're going to hit COVID. So have you got your Cormoran Strike COVID novel planned?
You are so right, because that obviously presents a challenge to a private investigator. So I don't know whether we're going to reach COVID.
Oh.
I think at the moment, I've definitely got 10 books in my head. And I mean, not in addition to what I've already done, 10 books total on the Galbraith series. So I don't know. I can think of one way we could do an investigation during COVID, but it would be tricky, yeah.
And the sexual tension between Cormoran and Robin is thick with this book.
It is, yes.
So presumably you've got that all planned in your head.
Well, that's one of the reasons I need to plot what happens during their relationship. I just need to keep an eye on that above, because that's the only linking theme between the books. Obviously, each book is a very different case, but their relationship is the thread through the whole series. I had someone on Twitter said to me the other day, I don't bother with the clues, I'm just reading it for Strike and Robin's relationship. I'm starting to wonder whether I shouldn't just have written, a romance.
A lovely romance.
Not bothered with the plotting of the crime. Yeah.
And this isn't a criticism, I don't want you to defend it, but but certain genres have certain expectations.
Yeah,
so there's those big international thrillers that are set in like Saudi Arabia, Washington, London, and they're big like this book.
Yeah.
But crime fiction tends not to be.
Yeah.
What is it in your head that makes them this big? Why, you know what I mean?
It needs to be that big, Graham. It just does. That was the story. And obviously you are following... I suppose I'm writing what I like. I like a bit of depth in characterisation, and I like... One thing with the Golden Age novels, and I feel as though I'm writing a Golden Age novel in the modern age, you did have a little bit more space often to explore character, and a bad whodunit for me is one where you can absolutely tell who the killer is because they're the only one that the author has managed to make in any way three-dimensional or interesting. Yeah. And everyone else feels a bit like a cardboard cutout.
They've got thin lips and cruel eyes.
Exactly. Steely grey eyes normally, yeah.
So what can you tell us about the plot? What's your sort of pitch, your elevator pitch for this novel?
Basically, we are dealing with an anonymous person online who purports to be a fan of a cartoon, but has turned on the creator and appears to know a lot about them personally. So the creator comes to the agency saying, please, can you find out who this person really is? It has to be someone who knows me. And that's the start of the plot, the detective plot, yeah.
And reading it, I couldn't help but, there are echoes of your life.
Yeah, more echoes than I realised, because I should make it really clear after some of the things that have happened to me online in the last year that this is not depicting... I'd written the book before certain things happened to me online. So I said to my husband, I think everyone's going to see this as a response to what happened to me, but it genuinely wasn't. The first draft of the book was finished at the point where certain things happened to me. I'm being very mysterious. I'm just talking about online threats and so on. Yeah. But where the echoes are concerned, the fandom within the Ink Black Heart is absolutely not the Potter fandom. What happened was I had this idea for the plot, so it was about 3 years ago now, and I said to my two teenagers, who do you think is the most toxic fandom? And to my amazement, they mentioned a certain cartoon. which I'd seen and thought was very witty and funny. I can't say what the cartoon is.
Let's press on quickly and you tell me.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought, what, that cartoon? Are you serious? And then I went online and looked and I thought, oh, they're absolutely right. So that's why it's an animator in the book. Originally, I thought I might make it a comic strip writer, but it's an animator in homage to this particularly toxic fandom.
Yeah. Listen, I'll tell you, let's take a break for music. You've chosen something that resonates with the book?
Rather Be by Clean Bandit, because it's mentioned in the book. It's a song that Strike hears at New Year's Eve.
Oh, yes, he does. I'd love... Clean Bandit do make me laugh. Do you ever see that ad where, is it the Cortana?
Yes.
I love that. Cortana, you really make me laugh. Anyway, more with Robert Galbraith, J.K. Rowling, after Clean Bandit and Jess Glynn. Rather Be is the name of the song. Ah, yes. Jess Glynn, Clean Bandit, as featured in The Ink Black Heart, the new Cormoran Strike novel, which is out in hardback on Tuesday and available to pre-order now at robert-galbraith.com. He's got his own website, that's posh.
He has, yeah. I don't often go on that website, but it looks very nice when I do.
Yeah, lovely, lovely, lovely. I was in New York during the just after lockdown.
Yeah.
And, lots of shops shut and, there weren't many people around. And I was just below the Flatiron and there was a big, big crowd. And I thought, oh, what's that? And it was the biggest Harry Potter shop.
I know that one. It's huge.
I bet you do. Yeah, you drive by going,
No, Graham. I drive by sort of crouching down in my seat. Yeah. I was once in a shop in London with my son. He was a little bit younger then, and we took a wrong turn in the toy department and we ended up in the Harry Potter merchandise. And I was trapped because there was this big group of American young people behind me and a ton of people ahead, and I sort of dragged David behind a bookshelf and I said, we'll just wait here a moment, we'll just wait here. And he looked up at me and said, how much money would you want for me not to shout, she's here?
No, because I often say, everyone wants to be successful, but nobody wants to be Adele. I mean...
Oh, I love Adele.
No, but that's we all love Adele. But you know what I mean?
I do completely know what you mean. Yeah, absolutely. I think you've got to keep a sense of humour about it.
Yeah. Because can you go out and about? Can you have a life?
I can go out and about, but I don't hang around Harry Potter merchandise stores, which would be a little self-destructive, I think. Yeah.
And when they did the Harry Potter reunion and you were kind of excluded, I mean, that must have been...
I wasn't actually.
Or did you exclude yourself?
Yeah, I was asked to be on that. Yeah,
okay.
And I decided I didn't want to do it. I thought it was about the films more than the books, Quite rightly. I mean, that was what the anniversary was about. So, yeah, that wasn't... No one said don't. If I was asked to do it, and I decided not to. Yeah.
And have you still got a relationship with the young actors? Some of them have spoken out about you, and do you still have a dialogue with them?
I have. Yes, I do. I mean, some more than others, but that was always the case. Some I knew better than others. So yeah.
Because it is that. Actually, that's like because you're talking about the threats online. We were talking about that during the record and stuff. And how do we get back to how can we de-escalate all of the things that are going on? Is there a way that you, as this very kind of visible vocal person, can de-escalate the conversation?
I think on one level, I'm not sure I can. I'm not sure any individual can. I mean, I try and behave online as I would like others to behave. I wouldn't, ever want to... I've never threatened anyone, obviously, and I certainly wouldn't want anyone to go to their houses or anything like that.
Yeah.
Social media is definitely... It's simultaneous. It can be a lot of fun. And I do like the sort of pub argument aspect of it. That can be a fun thing to do. But there's no doubt that social media is a gift for people who want to.
Yeah. You were
behave in a malign way.
You were such a different creature to me. I open the door to Twitter, I see a pub brawl going on 24/7 and just shut the door.
Well, I did actually take, I think, a whole year off Twitter. Or quite a long time. And then when COVID happened, I actually didn't go back on it for the pub brawl stuff, I went back on it because I wanted to do the Ichabog. And I wanted to, so that was a children's book for people who don't know.
The contest for the drawings,
and so I wanted to put it out for free, and I wanted to do, and Twitter was a really good, so I went back on with the intention of doing the Ichabog. And then I sort of have a bit of a love-hate relationship with it now. I can happily go for a few days without getting into a pub brawl or...
Because it struck me reading the book that, because, you know, it must have been so weird, because there's that bit of your life, and then your books, you would have thought, would be an escape from that bit of your life. But this book...
No, it
delves into it.
Well, do you know, I wanted to, because the last book, Troubled Blood, was a cold case, and it was a very, very sort of traditional, interviewing old people in their front rooms about what they remember about the disappeared woman. And so I wanted to do something very different. I wanted to go into a completely different world of now. And it was a fun way to explore it, actually, because Strike is older, and he's not the kind of person who would be on Twitter or ever have any interest really in being on Twitter. So he's in a world that he's not familiar with. Robin, being 10 years younger, is much more familiar with online worlds and understands them a bit more.
And it's interesting, she's no longer a sidekick. I mean, this is almost a Robin book, really, more than a Cormoran Strike book.
I think it's, that's interesting you say that. It's definitely 50-50 now. I always planned that she would become a full partner, and it's been fun, you know, having her learn and make mistakes, and now really is as good as he is. Yeah.
And very quickly, on telly, Troubled Blood, that's happening soon, I think.
It is, yes. I think it's out before Christmas, which will be fun, and I genuinely think people will love it. I think it's the best one so far.
I have to say, Tom Burke and Holiday Granger, they have done you so many favours.
You're not wrong there. They are they are fantastic people, two of the just nicest, most unpretentious and yet gifted actors you're ever going to meet. And absolutely, the show's been done so well. I think it's done the books a lot of favours. Yeah.
And are you able to do book events now? Are you able to go out and do things?
Yeah, I am. I mean, I really enjoy doing book festivals and so on. I think COVID just put such a spanner in the works that everyone's slightly forgotten how to go on stage. But I did an event for the Christmas Pig, which was out obviously quite recently, my children's book, and that was so much fun. I loved it. I forgot actually how much I love talking to kids. It was. It was a beautiful event. I loved it.
And so will you do events with the Ink Black Heart?
Possibly, yeah. There's nothing planned at the moment, but I might do, yeah.
Well, it's selling our hotcakes. Who cares? I don't need to. Well, listen, you didn't need to do this. So, J.K. Rowling, thank you very much for coming in to see us. Thank you very much, and good luck. The Ink Black Heart is out in hardback now, and you can pre-order it at robertgalbraith.com. Thanks so much.
Graham.
Bye-bye.